the monies that's generated is legitimately generated, and the accused provides such that in months where there's not enough cash flow, that there's money set aside to deal with those instances.
Thank you.
As the court pleases.
Right, Mr. Spannenberg.
Thank you, Milord.
Just wait. 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes.
If I may refer to my learned friend for the state's heads of argument, my lord, what immediately, in fact, raises eyebrows, as far as I'm concerned, and I submit will not pass His Lordship Justice Holmes' whistle test, is the 5-year sentence for assault common.
Yeah.
It is, I've, in my experience,
A year would be a lot.
I've never heard of, in fact, I've hardly ever heard of
imprisonment.
Imprisonment for assault common. Yeah. It's really, particularly if there's no previous.
Yes, but if it's going to be made concurrent with other sentences, then it shouldn't be a fine.
Then it, yes, my lord. Then it really doesn't make too much of a difference.
No, I understand.
I'm sure the accused can live with that.
No, I'm alive with you. I'm alive to that issue. I saw that issue.
And my learned friend argues quite strenuously that there's strong indications of a syndicate.
Syndicate. Oh, well, I can't blame you for a syndicate. I can't punish you for someone else's syndicate.
Well, that's exactly. We're not part of any syndicate.
No, I can only punish you for what you did.
Yes.
No, that I agree.
If so, my learned friend's submissions were correct, and it begs the question: why weren't the accused charged under the Prevention of Organised Crime Act?
No, but that's a different question.
But
the simple point is exactly what I raised with him.
Yes, my lord.
I can't punish them for someone else's actions.
Indeed, thank you, my lord.
I can't even think about that.
My submission.
No.
It
won't be that.
That's
not happening.
My lord, then I particularly we were instructed by accused number 6.
Yes.
To convey to you that although he maintains his innocence, he requests us to convey to you that he has respect for your judgment.
Well, yes, it's.
That was a particular instruction from accused number 6, which I would like to place on record.
Thank you.
Thank you, my lord. I'm sorry, number 4, my lord. Sorry.
Four. What did you 4? What did 3?
Mr. Much.
4. Does that mean that the others especially don't respect my judgment?
No, my lord, it's only that he sent my attorney a notice,
right.
which the others probably didn't.
I'm hearing you.
Thank God, my lord.
Okay. No. Okay. Accused 1.
I will speak in English, my lord, and if I need something, I will ask for the help.
Thank you. Are you prepared to carry on that basis?
I can see that it was the good decision or a good request from me to ask, because Mr. Spannenberg made you smile, so it makes me happy for now.
Well, you also making me smile, Mr.
Yeah. Okay, my lord. The sentence proposed by the state in their head of the arguments is shocking, inappropriate, and very harsh. State has not produced any evidence which justify my guilt on all these counts. I gave the evidence under oath, which the state failed to disprove and challenge my evidence. Therefore, my evidence should have been acknowledged and accepted. There is no any objective evidence to support the state case. There is no any objective evidence. I want to state that I am not arrogant and disrespectful to the court, what is in the head of the arguments of Mr. Mashiani, and the reason for not pleading guilty is because I maintain that I was not involved in all the charges against me. I propose that the court must take into account my health condition, what I already mentioned, the time...
That's the depression?
It was
and the panic attacks.
Depression, panic attacks.
Panic attacks.
And bladder cancer, which I'm treated every 6 months now.
Bladder cancer, right.
And the time what I already spent in the segregation, separation, isolation, solitary confinement, or how we will call it, which I feel that I spent in prison already 20 years in this kind of prison conditions.
Yeah.
I'm father of the children who needs me, and my family lost more than 2 years for me to be with them already.
Yeah.
I just hope that all the people behind and involved in this conspiracy will be one day soon asking their consciousness and personally responsible what they orchestrated against me and my family. I'm sentenced, I was convicted unlawfully. I received an unfair trial and conviction. I was sentenced publicly and via media long time before this trial started, or during this trial, long time before the conviction judgment, because of this fabricated story very often every week and before any court appearance. A sensational story, and without any facts and evidence for all these stories. They separated completely and destroy my family. The 90% of these publishing sensational stories are not true.
Which 10% you say are true?
Are not true. I said are not true.
But you said 10% is true.
Well, if they say he is 47 years old, for example, so that's I am saying yeah, that's true. That's correct. I am not a, public hate me, and I can't blame them, because after all these fabricating sensational stories about me, what was published, without facts and evidence, they might believe it, but they don't know me. That's the fact. And lastly, I want to say that oftenly I have the feeling that solution for everybody will be if I was killed in this attempt of killing me or commit suicide already. That's all what I want to say. Thank you, my lord.
Sorry, Mr. Spannenberg, I'll be with you in 1 second. I'm just trying to look at some papers then. Yes.
Yes, Lord, I just draw your attention to an aspect of my attorney pointing out to me that Mr. Mashiani for the state has erroneously indicated that you accused him before of assault with the intention to do grievous bodily harm in his head.
No, it's assault.
Which is not.
Let's just get them right. Yeah, let's just get it right. According to me,
so-called GBH, is it known?
Yeah.
Locally not.
Yes, while I've got you on your feet, so it will just help me a little bit to collate these things. SP1 and 2 was accused 2. SP3 is Mariping, who's 3, right? And 4 is Jeff, which is accused 4. And 5 is Mia, which is accused 5. And 6 is then 6, is that right? Let's just get it right. Mufa King. Yeah, he's accused 6. We got that right?
As the accused, yes.
Yes, that's right. So that's how they work. Thank you. In this matter, there are 6 accused who appeared before me. They were charged with 3 counts, dealing in drugs, kidnapping, and attempted murder.
Kidnapping,
They were, they were convicted as follows. Accused 1, counts 1, 2, and 3, but on count 1 it was attempted dealing. Accused 2 on counts 1, 2, and 3.
Number 2,
Accused 3, counts 2 and 3. Accused 4, count 2, and on count 3 of assault only. Accused 5 on counts 1, 2, and 3, but the count 1 was an attempted dealing. Accused 6 on count 2 and 3. Accused 1 made a statement in mitigation, and it appears from his statement that he is a 47-year-old married man with 2 sons, one aged 23 and one aged 6 years.
Statement hane a hlalosa seemo sa hae sa bophelo o tshilo hore yena o lemotse 47 o tshilo hore yena o na le bana ba babedi o mongwe na le lemotse 23 o mongwe na le lemotse 16. U number 1 ke yena uye wayenza esakhe statement lapho echaza isimo sakhe sempilo ushiwo ukuthi ke uneminyaka u47 ushilo nokuthi ke futhi unabantwana omunye una 23 omunye una 6.
His oldest son Daniel lives with his wife. He's studying and his wife pays his upkeep. His mother pays his upkeep.
Washo ke ukuthi umntana lo omunye uhlala noma wakhe uma wakhe uyeke umama wakhe umangalelwa uye okhokhela o nakekela umntana lona atsho hape hore ngwana o mong o dula le mme wa hae le hore mme wa hae motsuwa ke yena hlokometseng ngwana eno.
The 6-year-old child lives with his mother and his brother and wife, and the mother contributes towards his upkeep.
Ngwana o le motse tseletseng o dula le mme wa hae le abuti le mme wa hae le hore mme wa hae motsuwa ke yena o hlokometseng batho bana.
All of those persons live in the Czech Republic.
Batho bana kaofela ba dula Czech Republic. Washo ke ukuthi lo mntana ona 6 enhlala noma wakhe umfowabo kanye nomama wakhe onakekela lo mndeni bonke bahlala eCzech Republic.
The accused went to school and was able to obtain a university degree in economics.
Washo ke umangalelo oqala ukuthi yena uye esikoleni wathola i-degree ku-economics. Number 1 he utshilo hore na ukena isikolo yaba university uthola degree ya economics.
He is a highly intelligent person and has been a successful businessman.
Hlakaniphe kakhulu kanti ke futhi waye waba umuntu oqhuba ebhizinisi eliphumelelayo kakhulu. Number 1 ke motho bohlala haholo ebile ke motho owa dikgwebo e tsamayang hantle haholo.
He has not worked since 2005, as by that time he had earned so much money that he was able to afford not to work.
Wathi ke yena sukela ngo-2005 engasebenzi ngoba ngaleso sikhathi ebesenze imali eningi kakhulu elingeni ukuthi ingakwazi ukuthi imphilise. Yena hotloela ka 2005 asasebenzi ka yona nako eo ona setse a entse tšhelete e ngata elikaneng hore ka khona mo phidisa.
He had apparently started his own company, and during the time when there was a privatization in the Czech Republic, had made this immense fortune.
Uthe yena uye waqala ibusiness lakhe ngalesikhathi ku privatizwa emakhampani eCzech Republic. Yena ke ngaleso sikhathi enza leli business wenza imali eningi kakhulu lapho. Yena uyithe wile aqala khwebo kana ko ene privatizwa di company Czech Republic ke hona mo a entseng tšhelete ngata.
He has lived in the Republic of South Africa since 2007.
the yena ke ufike la eMzansi ngo-2007 utse yena uqalile ukudlula mo-South Africa udlula ka-2007.
During the time he's been in the Republic, he has never worked.
Kusukela khona ngo-2007 efike la eMzansi akakaze asebenze utse ho tlohela ka yona nako e fihlileng mo-South Africa ka-2007 ha so ke asebetse.
It is apparent from what happened during the trial and his evidence that he has a close bond with his family, that he cares much about them, and that to the extent he has been able to look after them financially, he has always done so.
Kuye kwacaca ebufakazini nangale zinto ayishilo yena ukuthi ngaso sonke lesikhathi ube umuntu osondelene kakhulu nomndeni wakhe ngangokuthi yena ke kwaze wenza isiqiniseko sokuthi kube uyo onakekela umndeni wakhe. Ile wahlaka eka nako enentse ho nyewe ntse itswela pele le ka bopaki ba hae hore ke motho ona atamelane haholo le family ya hae ho fihlela mo horeng yena o hlokomela family ya hae ka ditjhelete.
It was quite patently a matter of some resentment to him that his family currently are forced to live in the Czech Republic as opposed to in South Africa.
Yamphatha kakhulu lento yokuthi umndeni wakhe waphoqelelwa ukuthi uthunyelwe emuva ekhaya kunokuthi bahlalela eMzansi. Ile a tshwara hampe haholo ha family ya hene irumelwa moraho hae hona le hore ba dule mo South Africa.
He has been in prison for some 27 months.
Obeloko evalelwe ejele inyanga ezingaba u27 ho tloela sele dikgwedi tse 27 ho tlela nako e atshwereng ka yona ntsa kwaletswe.
He suffers from a medical condition.
Ke yena unezifo ethile anazo. Tsena ona le bolwetse bo anang le bona ke motho a kulang,
which he identified as being panic attacks, depression, and a bladder cancer.
Kuye washo ukuthi ke yena ugula lokhu kwa ma panic attacks, depression kanye ne cancer esinye. Tse yena o hokula ho hae ke panic attack, depression le bladder cancer ya bladder.
During the time he has been in jail, he has been treated by the relevant medical personnel who are required to treat him insofar as his psychiatric, psychological and physical condition is concerned.
Kanti ke uye wathola ukunyangwa kusukela lesisikhathi eloku esibhedlela esejele kanjalo kakhulukazi enyangwa ngokomqondo kanye nje nasenokugula kwasemzimbeni. Uthe yena ile athola thuso mo alafwang teng ka kelello dintho tse ka bang tse mhlekefetsa kellong ya hae hape le bokukula meleng wa hae.
He receives medication for the chronic conditions from which he suffers and such other medication as he requires from time to time.
Kanti ke uthola usizo imithi ayisebenzisayo chronic kanye neminye imithi ayinikezwa noma ngabe kunini uma ngabe kunesidingo salokho. Utse yena onale thuso ayitholang ya alafiwa.
There is no
ba chronic uthola le kalafo engwe ning kapa ning ha a hlokeha.
There is no complaint about the medical treatment which he has received while he has been in prison, or the fact that it was necessary and resulted in the relevant treatment of his conditions.
Akanazo futhi ikhalazo ka ngosizo lonyango alitholayo njengoba esejele kanjena nokuthi uma njalo kudingeka ukuthi athole usizo oluthile njengoba egula nje uyakwazi ukuthi asizwe athole ukunyangwa ngaleyo ndlela. Yena he hana dipilayelo ka tsela e ba mothusang ka teng ho alafiwa ha hae le hore ha o hlokeha hore a thole thuso ba khona hore ba mothuse ha ntsa le tronkong jwalo.
So much for his personal state of affairs.
Loko ke yiko ke akuchazile ngesimo sakhe sempilo tseo ke tsona dinhla tse a di hlalositseng ka bophelo ba hae.
Accused number 2, who was born in November 1969, is married.
Mangalelo sibili ke yena ozalwe ngoNovember 1969 ushadile.
He has a 22-year-old son who was born out of wedlock
Uno-
and 2 other children aged 17 and 12.
uno mntwana omfana amthole ngaphandle komshado futhi unabanye abantwana ababili, omunye uneminyaka u17 omunye uneminyaka u12. Haile number 2 yena ke mothotseng ka November 1969 o nyetse ibile o na le ngwana wa moshimane le motse 22 a mo thotseng pele go lenyalo. O na le bana ba babedi, o mongwe o na le 17 o mongwe o na le 12 dilemo.
It is apparent from the evidence that he is a devoted husband and caring of his family and his children.
Kuyacaca ke ukuthi umangalelo sibili umuntu oyinikele kakhulu emshadweni wakhe nokuthi ke unakekela umndeni wakhe, umkakhe nabantwana.
And that no expense is spared in meeting their financial requirements. For example, they attend expensive schools and university.
Nokuthi ke wenza ngakho konke kusemandleni ukuthi anakekele umndeni wakhe ngokweyimali kakhulu, njengokuthi abantwana bakhe bangene ezikolweni edurayo nase varsity kanjalo. Number 2 yena ke motho o hlokometseng lelapa la hae haholo, o hlokometse bana ba hae, se o se bona la ka hobane ho hlakile hore bana ba hae ba kena dikolo tse turang le di university.
He is caring for his extended family, and it is patent that he has a close relationship with his extended family.
Kanti ke umuntu onakekela futhi ungasiphela lo mndeni wakhe ahlala nawo, laba abanye bomndeni wakhe nabo abantu abanakekelayo, nokuthi ke futhi abantu asondelelana nabo wenza isiqiniseko sokuthi nabo bayanakekelwa. Ntho enga hape ke hore ha hlokomele fela lelapa le la hae e leng mosadi le bana le ba bang e leng family ya hae, ke batho aba hlokometseng go etsa bonnete ba hore wa ba thusa.
For example, his sister is currently unemployed, and he has assisted financially towards the 6 children which he has.
Njengokuthi unakekela abantwana bakadadewabo abawu6, udadewabo lo ongasebenziyo o hlokometse lelapa le la hae lena o tsana le oswahe o sa sebetseng o nang le bana ba tseletseng ba abahlokomelang.
He completed a grade 12 education in 1986, and in 1989 obtained a certificate in accounting from Damelin College.
Kanti ke number 2 yena wayenza grade 12 wakhe ngo1986, ngo1989 wathola i-certificate sakhe ku-accounting eDamelin. Number 2 yena ile a etsa matric kapa grade 12 ya hae ka 1986, ka 1989 ke ha a thola certificate sa hae sa accounting Damelin College.
It is apparent that he was successful and intelligent, and that notwithstanding that he opened and closed a number of businesses, his success in business was great.
Kuyacaca ke ukuthi number 2 umuntu ohlakaniphile futhi ke umuntu okwazi ukusebenza, uvule amabhizinisi aluka aqhubeka njalo, avula ibhizinisi elinye avula elinye emva kwelinye, nokuthi ke ebephumelela ukwenza lo umsebenzi oqhubeka amabhizinisi. Hwa bonala hore number 2 ke motho ya bohlale, ke motho ya a tswellang pele, ke motho a kileng a bula dikgwebo ka tatellano di tswella.
Currently, he is employed by a company which results in an income to him of approximately around 30,000 per month.
Okwamanje ke umuntu oqhashwe inkampani emholela imali engaba ngango 30,000 rand ngenyanga. Hona jwalo o sebeletsa company emo lefelang tšhelete e ka 30,000 rand ka kgwedi.
In addition, he receives an amount of some 5,000 rand as a rental income from a cottage or from his mother's house.
Ngaphezu kwalokho ke uthola imali ngango 5,000 rand kuyimali ephuma ku cottage erentiswayo endlini kama wakhe. Hodimhamo uthola tšhelete e 30,000 rand ka kgwedi, hodimhamo uthola tšhelete e ka 5,000 rand e a itholang ho tswa cottaging e rentiswang ho mme tlung ya mme wa hae, jarateng ho mme wa hae.
The accused's wife has also been successful and earned some around 20,000 per month.
Umka number 2 naye ke umuntu ophumelelayo, nokuthi ke uthola imali ngango 20,000 rand emsebenzini awenzayo ngenyanga na mosadi wa hae lena jwalo ke motho o tswellang wa sebetsa o gola tšhelete ka 20,000 rand ka kgwedi.
The income which he uses, which he and his wife earns, are used to support their family and pay the expenses, including the great expenses of private schooling for the children.
Umholo lo wa mangalelo wesibili kanye nonkosikazi umholo okunakekelwa ngawo umndeni enokuthi ke kukhokhelwa indleko ethile kanye nezikolo zabantwana lezi ebizayo. Tefo kapa ditšhelete tse ba di etsang number 2 le mosadi wa hae ke tšhelete e ba sebedisang ho hlokomela lelapa la bona ba kgone le hore ba patalle dintho tse itseng tse hlokahalang ka motlung ho tshwana le bo dikolo tsa bana jwalo.
To the extent that there is a shortfall from time to time, his mother-in-law contributes.
Washo nokuthi ke kuye kube khona inyanga la kutholakala ukuthi imali ayanele kodwa umamazala uye ancedise yena o tshilo hape le hore hona le nako tso mo le hore tšhelete ha ilekane fela matsale wa hae wa thusa.
In addition, the accused number 2 supports the child which he has of a previous relationship, and such support is required as his former partner earns insufficient to support herself and the child.
Ngaphezu kwalokho yomangalelo sibili wondlana lengane engaphandle noma lengane engekho emshadweni ngoba ke uma walengane akatholi imali elingene ngalokho ke yena we ancedise ngokuthi kuondwe lengane kusizwe lengane. Hape ntwe ngwe ko hore number 2 ntsa thusa ho hlokomela ngwana o seng lenyalong la hae. Mme wa ngwana o ha tholi tšhelete lekaneng ho hlokomela ngwana jwalo yena wa kena jwalo ka ntate a thuse ho hlokomela ha ngwana.
Accused was in custody for several months.
Mangalelwa o sene nyanga ezu 7 eloke valelwe motusuwa wa bobedi ona le kgwedi tse supileng antsa kwaletswe.
That period can be rounded off to approximately 4 months.
Leso sikhathi ke sona singahlanganiswa nje sibeke laphana kwenyanga ezine. Nako eo e ka kopanya e be nako e ka bang dikgwedi tse 4.
Accused number 3, Mr. Mariping, was born during March 1972.
Umangalelo wesithathu uMaruping yena wazalwa ngo March 1972.
He was previously married. His wife is deceased.
Wayeshadile unkosikazi wakhe washona. Maruping motusu wa boraro yena o tsotse ka March 1972. Yena o nanyetse fela mosadi wa hae o la hlokahala.
He has a number of children.
Ona bantwana nje abambalwa.
Some 6 of them.
Abangaba u6. Ona le bana ba ka bang bana ba tsheletseng.
He's a child who's almost 12 years old, one of 25, 2 of 24, 1 of 23, and 1 of 19.
Uno mntana o cishesene minyaka ewu12 khona oyedwa uneminyaka ewu25 khona babili abaneminyaka ewu24 khona uneminyaka ewu23 noyedwa uneminyaka ewu19. Una le bana una le ngwana ya batlileng abadilemo tse 12 o mongwe lemo tse 25 ba babedi lemo tse 24 yo mongwe lemo tse 23 yo mongwe lemo tse 19.
His youngest son attends a school in Lambton and is in grade 4, and the 19-year-old child attends Wits University and is studying towards a law degree.
Studying towards
a law degree.
Umntana wakhe lo omncane umfana ufunda eLemthini wenza ugrade 4 kanti ke lo ona 19 na use vets wenza ifundo zomthetho. Ngwana o wa mshimane wa hae omunyane o kena sekolo lemthini o etsa grade 4. Wa 19 years o kena mane vets yena o etsa dithuto tsa semolao tsa molao.
Years throughout the time of when he has had children, supported them financially, emotionally, and psychologically.
Kanti ke laba bantwana bakhe nje ube uye umuntu obanakekele ngayo yonke indlela abadinga unakekelwa ngayo. Bana ba hae ke bana ba yena ntsa ba hlokometse ka tsela tsohle tse ba hlokang ho hlokomelwa ka tsona.
At the time of the death of his wife, he was affected emotionally and suffered depression to such an extent that he obtained treatment in respect of it.
Kalesikhathi kushona unkosikazi wakhe number 3 wathinteka kakhulu emoyeni kangokuthi waze waba ne-depression, uthola unyango lwaleyo depression. Itse ha o hlokahala mosadi wa hae ya ba ile hore wa ameha holo moyeng wa hae wa lemala ya ba o ba le depression e leng hore o thotse thuso ya ho alafiwa.
He lives in rented accommodation and yes.
Lapho ehlala khona o rentile mo wa dulang teng o renta.
Insofar as his educational history is concerned, he went to school and including grade R and primary school. He attended high school, did not repeat any grade, and obtained a matric certificate in 1990.
Kanti ke o mangalelwa wesithathu yena waya esikoleni wayenza u grade R, waya nase primary, waya nase high school, akuna la aphinda istandard khona noma I grade, wase uthola ke certificate sakhe noma wenza u matric wakhe umqeda ngo 1990. Number 3 yena o kene sekolo o entse grade R, aya primary, aya high school, ha ona maphitileng grade teng ya ba ka 1990 o etsa matric wa hae.
He clearly is an intelligent, energetic person. He has attended training for policing since he completed school. And at the time that he was arrested, he was attending a police science course.
Kanti ke kuyacaca ukuthi umuntu ohlakaniphile, umuntu ke onomdlandla, umuntu ke obekade othole I-training esiphoyiseni nokuthi ngalesikhathi eboshwa beka umuntu oyenza I-course ye-police science.
Throughout his
Number 3 yena he wa bona la hore ke motho ya bohlale ibile ke motho ya matjato hape o ile a thola training ya seponisa nako a tshwarang ka yona ona etsa police science.
Throughout his working life, he has been employed by the police and he has risen through the ranks over the time period.
Kanti ke yena umangalelwa owesithathu empilweni yakhe nje wasebenza njengephoyisa nokuthi ngaso sonke lesikhathi eyiphoyisa ebeloku enyuka nama rank wamaphoyisa. Number 3 yena o sebeditse jwalo ka leponisa bophelong ba hae ka yona nako ka ofela tsedile o sebetsa ibile motho o nantsa a tlhatlhoha jwalo a hodimo ka direnke tsa maponisa tsa seponisa.
During 2000, he was employed at the International Airport under Crime Intelligence Division as a sergeant.
Kanti ke wa sebenza ngo 2000 wa sebenza International Airport go Crime Intelligence sergeant.
In approximately 2004, he joined organized crime, which is referred to as the Hawks, in Germiston. He was still a sergeant. He was promoted in 2007 to a warrant officer.
Kanti ke ngo 2004 wase joina I-organized crime unit ebizwa ngama-Hawks khona manje eGermiston. Ngo 2007 ebeloko usergeant sonke leso sikhathi, kanti ke ngo 2007 wase nyuswa ngesikhundla waba warrant officer. Accused number 3 yena uka 2000 ona sebetsa mane difofaneng crime intelligence ebele hore yena ine ili sergeant na kwa ofela ka 2004 ke ha a qala a joina organized crime unit e bitswang di Hawks Germiston ntse a le sergeant jwalo. Ka 2007 ke ha a thola promotion aba warrant officer.
Since 2010, he has been working in Germiston in the organized crime unit.
Sukela ngo 2010 beloko esebenza laphana eGermiston kule unit ye organized crime unit.
At the time of his arrest, he was earning an income of some rand 17,000 per month before deductions, and he was able to meet his financial needs out of that income.
Ngaso leso sikhathi ke ebehola imali engango 17,000 rand ngaphambi kokuthi kuthathwa ama deductions nokuthi ke ngalo umholo noma ngaleyo mali ebekwazi ukuthi awondle umndeni wakhe ngayo. Number 3 yena ka 2010 nansa asebetsa mane Germiston asebeletsa lona lefapha la organized crime unit a thola chelete e ka 17,000 rand pele ho di deductions ke yona chelete ona sebedisa yona ho hlokomela lapa la hae.
As far as his medical condition is concerned, he has suffered what appears to be a fairly severe depression from the time of his wife's death, and he has a high blood pressure, and he from time to time suffers from severe headaches.
Kanti ke umangalelwa yena unako ukugula ukuthile anako thike yena wathinteka kakhulu waba ne severe depression edokuthi ne high blood nokuthi unokuthi nje ngekhathi ethile abe aphathwe ikhanda abe nama headaches lokhu kwenzeke kusukela ngalesikhathi kushona unkosikazi. Number 3 he yena ke motho yana le bolwetse bo itseng ke motho o nang le severe depression ho tloela mosadi wa hae hlokahetse, high blood o na le ho tshwara ke hloho ka dinako tse tseng.
He similarly has been in custody several months.
Naye kanjalo o valelwe inyanga ezimbalwa yena ha jwalo sale akwaletswe dikgwedi tse mmalwa.
Accused 4, Mr. Ntorwane, was born during September 1967.
Umangalelwa wesibili uNtorwane Jeff yena ke wazalwa ngoSeptember 1969. September.
He grew up in the Orange Free State, but relocated to Johannesburg in 1995 because of the need for employment.
Ukhulele eFree State kanti ke waseza eGoli ngo1995 ezofuna umsebenzi. Accused number 4 yena ke Ntorwane Jeff yena o tutika September 1967 uhlile mo Johannesburg ho batla mosebetsi ka 1995.
He is married to his wife since 2005 and has a child aged 14 years from that union.
Oshadile kusukela ngo2005 kanti ke uno mntwana la emshadweni oneminyaka e14. Yena he o nyetsi ona le ho tlola ka 2005 bana le ngwana le mosadi wa hae onang le motse 14.
His wife is also employed by the South African Police Services Organized Crime Division and earns an income which the two of them apply towards the needs of the family.
Unkosikazi wakhe naye uyasebenza uyiphoyisa ukuthi ke usebenza kuyo le unit organized crime bobabili ngomholo wabo bakwazi ukunakekela umndeni ntwana. Number 4 yena he unyetsi ka 2005 una le ngwana una le 14 mo lenyalong mosadi wa hae lena o sebetsa mo sponsoring organized crime unit bobedi ba bona chelete e ba ifolang ke yona e ba hlokomelang la la bona.
His mother is an aged person and in receipt of a pension.
Uma wakhe umuntu osemdala usekhulile uthola imali pension mme wa hae ke motho ya sa hodileng wa dilemo tsa godimo ebile o thola tšhelete ya pension.
The accused has a good relationship with his family, his wife and child, and his extended family.
Umuntu ozwana kakhulu kahle nomndeni wakhe, osikazi umntana o nalaba abanye bomndeni. Yena ke motho ya utlwanang hantle haholo le family ya hae, mosadi, ngwana le family e nngwe.
The extent to which they sacrifice to maintain the scholastic education of their child is evident when one considers that the child attends grade 8 at St. John's College.
Kanti ke ba abantu abanakekela lo mntana ngeimali bamkhokhele ne-school fees ungena St. John's College wenza grade 8.
They patently are a bonded family, the same as the other accused.
Kuyacaca ukuthi nabo njengalabo abanye abamangalelwa ba abantu abasondelene kakhulu nemindeni yabo, naye usondelene nomndeni wakhe njengalabo abanye abamangalelwa. Number 4 yena ngwana he ogena ko St. John College wetsa grade 8. Yena jwalo ka bathusiwa ba bang le yena jwalo ke motho o atamelane leng haholo le family ya hae, ke motho utlwanang le family ya hae.
In 1993, the accused matriculated with grade 12 and thereafter in 1995 joined the police.
Mangalelwa number 4 yena wenza umatric ngo-1993 wathola certificate sakhe sika grade 12 ngo-95 ke 1995 wase qala ukusebenza njengephoyisa. Yena he uyeditse dithuto tsa he o fihlela ho matric ka 1993. Ka 1993 athola certificate sa he sa matric ya ba ka 95 o sebetsa jwalo ka leponisa.
He was successful in his police career and was promoted over the time period from constable to warrant officer, which rank he currently holds at the Germiston Organized Crime Unit.
Kanti ke usebenze kahle kakhulu ephumelele emsebenzini wakhe wophoyisa ekusukela nje lokho eqhubeka enyuswa kuya ngama rank, waqala wanyuswa wayoba kusukela constable waloke enyuka kanjalo wayoba warrant officer, warrant officer nje njengoba eseboshwa nje. Yena uile asebenza jalo atswella bomsebetsi wa hae wobuponisa ntse athola di promotion anza anyuna jalo ka di renke, aba constable, aba aya pele aba warrant officer o fihlela nako e atshwarang ka yona ale warrant officer managing team.
Part of his duties involved the investigation of drug offences.
Kanti ke ingxenye yo umsebenzi awenzayo ukwenza uphenyo ngamacala wokusetshenziswa noma ukuthengiswa kwezidakamizwa. Yena ke motho ya etsang kapa mosebetsi o mong karolo engwe ya mosebetsi wa hae go etla dipatlisiso ka melato e tsamaisanang le dititifatsi.
He is intelligent and successful and has a positive behavioral profile.
Hlakaniphile kakhulu kanti ke futhi umuntu okwazi ukusebenza nokuthi umuntu okwazi ukuthi azinyuse yena nasemsebenzini wakhe uyaphumelela. Yena ke motho ya bohlale, ke motho a tswellang mo mosebetsing wa hae, ke motho ileng hore o ile a khuthatsa bophelong ba hae.
His energy is apparent when one considers that in addition to working as a policeman, which usually involves long hours, he was able to successfully trade in a company dealing in hotel bookings and make between rand 100,000 and rand 300,000 per annum.
Kanti ke umdladla lo anawo ke uye wamnceda kakhulu ekutheni akwazi ukusebenza ngokuyikhandla, asebenze ama-hours amade ngangokuthi uze wayo kwazi nokuthi ayenze alo msebenzi ukuthi akwazi ukwenza ama-bookings wama-hotel lapho enza khona go-100 kuya ku-300,000 ngonyaka. Yena he ibile motho o matjatu ka tsela ya hore ile a sebetsa haholo ka matla hore a tle a kgone le hore a sebetse di-hour tse lelle, hape a be a kene le kgwebong mo ho etswang di-bookings tsa di-hotel o etsa tšhelete o tloela ho 100 to fihla ho 300,000 ka selemo.
He currently is in acceptable health condition, although at a point in time he was diagnosed with sugar diabetes.
Umuntu ophilile kahle emzimbeni noma ke kuye kwaba nesikhathi la kwatholakala ukuthi unesifo sikashukela. Ke motho ya phetseng hantle mmeleng wa hae la ile hore hona le nako mme o ile ngwa fumana hore o na le lefu la tswekere.
He too has been in custody for several months.
Naye kanjalo uloke evalelwe inyanga ezimbalwa le yena ha jwalo o sa kwaletswe dikgwedi tse mmalwa.
Accused number 5 was born during February of 1981.
Umangalelwa number 5 yena uzelwe ngo February 1981.
He is currently married and there is a 7-year-old child born of that marriage.
Ushadile unomntana ona minyaka e7 khona lapha emshadweni. Mutusuwa number 5 yena o tswetswe February 1981 onyetsi ibile bana le ngwana wa lemo tse 7.
In addition to the child conceived of his marriage, the accused has 7 other children whose ages range from 3 to 15 years from a variety of different mothers.
Ngaphezu kwalo kwalengane le anayo yasemshadweni unezinye ingane zo7 ezisuka eminyakeni emithathu kufika eminyakeni e15 nabantu besifazana abahlukahlukile. Motusiwa yena ntle le ngwana wa dilemo tse 7 mo lenyalong o na le bana ba bang ka ntle ba 7 ba ho tloha ho dilemo tse 3 ho ya ho dilemo tse 15 le basadi ba fapafapaneng.
2 of those children live with the accused mother, and the others live with their various biological mothers.
Ababili balabantwana bahlala noma wakhe umangalelwa, abanye ke abantwana bahlala naboma wabo. Bana ba babedi mo baneng ba hae ba 7 ba dula le mme wa hae, ba bang bana ba dula le bomme wa bona.
He contributes positively to the financial needs of
Khulu isandla ekunakekelweni kwalezi ingane ke motho ya etsang bonnete ba hore bana ba hlokomelwa ka hore yena a kenye letsoho.
The accused went to school and achieved a grade 12 education during 1998.
Number 5 ke yena waya esikolweni wayo qeta o grade 12 ngo 1998. Yena o ile esikolong a etsa grade 12 wa hae ka 1998.
He is an entrepreneur who commenced business as a taxi owner during 1999 and has been able to successfully conduct that business sufficiently to provide for himself and his children.
Kanti ke yena umuntu owenza business business lamatekisi kusukela ngo 1999 nokuthi ke kulo leli business wenza imali kahle kakhulu futhi elingene ukuthi akwazi ukunakekela umndeni kayo. Moquswa yena ke motho ya sebetsang anang le kgwebo ya mo di taxi utlola ka 1999 le hore mo etsa tšhelete e lekaneng hore a kgone go hlokomela family ya hae.
The accused suffers from panic attacks from time to time and is currently in receipt of medication.
Kanti ke umangalelo lona una lokugula kwe panic attack nokuthi ke uthola unyango njalo ke ikhathi lwalokufa kwakhe lokugula. Moquswa yena ke motho ya nang le bolwetse ba panic attack o thola thuso ha o hlokahala hore a ithole ka lebaka la lefu lena.
And I shall treat him as if he is a first offender.
Umangalelwa ke uye wavuma amacala amabili ake walahlwa ngawo ngaphambilini lokuthi ke amacala amadala futhi angahlangene lutho nalamacala alahlwe ngawo khona manje. qalayo nga na o ile a dumela melato e mebedi a kileng a lahlwa ka yona peleng e le hore ke melato ya kgale ebile ke melato e sa amaneng ho hang le melato e a lahlilweng ka yona hona jwalo seo se tjho hore yena o tla nkuwa jwalo ka motho ya qalang ho lahliwa ka melato pela lekgotla la dinyewe.
He too has been in custody in respect of the current offence for at least several months.
Naye kanjalo usevalelwe ulamacala lawa alahlwe ngawo inyanga ezingaba u7 yena ha jwalo usakwaletswe tronkong mo dinyewe tseka bantse 7.
Accused 6 was born in March 1965.
Mangalelwa number 6 ke yena wazalwa ngo March 1965 motsuswa number 6 yena o tsutsika March 1965.
He is married to his wife who lives in Harrismith with 3 children.
Shadile unonkosikazi ohlala eHarrismith nabantwana bathathu yena unyetsi mosadi udula Harrismith le bana ba bona ba bararo.
The 3 children are 25 years old, 20 years old, and 15 years old, respectively.
Abantwana laba ba abantwana abaneminyaka omunye una 25, omunye una 20, omunye una 15. Bana ke bana ba limong tse omunye una limo tse 25, omunye limo tse 20, omunye una limo tse 15.
The 25-year-old child is unemployed. The 20-year-old child is at school doing grade 10, and the 15-year-old at school doing grade 7.
Kanti ke umntana lona ona 25 umntana ongasebenzi lona 20 yena wenza grade 10 esikoleni lona eminyaka e15 ke yena use esikoleni naye.
The accused grew up in a well-structured environment where his basic needs were cared for.
Mangalelwa ukhuliswe kahle ekhaya elakheke ngendlela efanele enakekwela ngendlela futhi efanele. Ucuswa bana ba hayo omunye una le 25 ke motho sa sebetsing ona le 20 ke o etsa grade 10 lona le 15 yena o kena sekolo. O ditswe hantle ha bona ke lelapa le hantle mo na hlokomela ka tsela e tshwanetseng.
His social upbringing was that he should work hard and show respect and that he would succeed.
Wakhuliswa ngendlela ukuthi wayefundiswa ukuthi fanele asebenze kanzima futhi ke ahloniphe lokho kuzomphumelelisa. Yena he uditswe ka tsela ya hore urutuwe hore tlamele a sebetse ka thata ibile a hlomphe seo se tlo mothusa a atlehe bophelong.
The accused lives apart from his family because he was transferred from the place where they live to work at our Tamba.
Umangalelwa ke yena wahlukaniswa nomndeni wakhe ngoba watransfera ngokomsebenzi ukuthi azosebenza eOR Tambo. Mutuswa yena ile arohanywa le lelapa lahe hobane atransferetswe hore a tlo sebetsa OR Tambo.
Notwithstanding the separation from his family, he has a close, loving relationship with all of them.
Noma lokhu ke ehlukaniswe nomndeni wakhe noma isusiwe kubo usasondelene nabo kakhulu nomndeni wakhe la ha ile hore o arantse le family ya hae ke batho ba ile hore ke batho ba amaneng haholo ba utlwanang haholo le lelapa la hae.
The accused was living in a one-roomed house with other tenants and was forced to live under these conditions as his family live in Harrismith.
Umangalelo waphoqeleleka ukuthi wahlala erumini elilodwa lapho ebesherelana nabanye abantu waphoqeleka ukuthi ahlale la kule ndawo le ngobe nako ehlukaniswe nomndeni wakhe. Emutuswa una dula room elengwe mo na shara le batho ba bang seo se tsahetse ka lebaka la hore yena o ile a tshwanna hore a rohane le family ya hae.
He went to school and obtained a grade 12 education
waya esikoleni wathola grade 12 ile esikolong ayitsa grade 12.
After his schooling, he went to be trained as a police officer.
Emva kokuthi ese yenze grade 12 wayo trainer njengephoyisa kamara haura ayenze grade 12 wahe wile ayilo trainela ho ba le ponisa.
He was successful as a police officer and was promoted to warrant officer, and currently is working with the Hawks.
Kanti ke umuntu wayephumelela kakhulu emsebenzini wakhe njengephoyisa wase nyuswa ke ethola wasuswa esikhundleni sika warrant wasenikezwa isikhundla sika warrant officer wasuka lapho ke usebenza nama Hawks kuyimanje. Yena ineli motho o nasebetsa ihantla haholo a tswella mo mosebetsing wa jalo ka leponisa yaba o fuwa renke ya warrant officer ona jalo o sebetsa le di Hawks.
It is apparent that he was brought up to be a useful member of society, and that he is bonded with his family, with whom for whom he cares, and who he supports financially.
Kanti ke yena kuyacaca ukuthi kwaba umuntu osebenza ngokuyikhandla kakhulu, umuntu ke osondela nomndeni wakhe, kanti ke umndeni wakhe lo yena unakekela ngokwezimali. Ohlakile hore ke motho o na sebetsa ka thata e be le hore o hlokometse lelapa la hae ka ditjhelete. Batho ba ba ratang ebile.
None of the accused has any previous convictions, save for number 5 previous convictions, which, as I stated, I propose ignoring.
Bonke laba bamangalelwa abanawo amacala abake balahla ngawo ngaphambilini njengoba bezolahlwa ngamacala lana ngaphandle kwa number 5 lo oke walahlwa ngamacala kodwa ke nawo amacala wakhona amadala. Bathuswa bana kaofela ke batho ba ne basoki balahlwe ka melato pele ho melato e balahlweng ka yona ona jwalo ntle le number 5 le yena number 5 melato e ke melato ya kgale.
The accused have all been in custody for the varying periods to which I've referred earlier, and I take those periods into account in imposing the sentence which I propose imposing on each of them.
Abamangalelwa ke bona se bavalelwe isikhathi engikhulume ngaso lana seyinyanga ezimbalwa. Kalokho ke uma ngizokhipha isigwebo ngizokuthathela emqondweni lokho ukuthi sebake bachitha isikhathi phakathi ejele. Kalokho bese ngikhipha isigwebo esifanele omunye nomunye wabo. Bathuswa bana jwalo ka ha ke tsholo mona hore se ba kwaletswe di nako ka tsela e ke hlalositseng ka teng. Seo ke tla senkela hlohong ha ke ntsha sekwebo ke etse bonnete ba hore ke ntsha sekwebo ke fa motho e mong sekwebo se tshwanetseng ho ya ka dinako tseo hape.
In imposing punishment upon the accused, I am required to and do consider the well-known features of punishment referred to commonly as the triad.
Kanti ke uma ngizokhipha isigwebo esifanele kulaba bamangalelo kuzofanele ukuthi ke ngibheke into ebekiwe ukuthi ke ngokomthetho kufanele kwenziwe ngayiphi indlela.
The triad consists of the 3 broad heads, namely the personal state of the accused, the crime which was committed, and society.
Lokho ke busho ukuthi fanele ngibheke okokuqala umangalelwa uqobo lakhe, ngibheke isimo sempilo yakhe, bese ngibheke icala, ngibheke umangalelwa isimo sakhe sempilo, ngibheke icala alahlwe ngalo noma amacala alahlwe ngawo, bese ngibheka ke ukuthi umphakathi wona uzizwa kanjani ngabantu abalahlwe ngamacala afana nalawo. Jalo nahe hore ke tle ke khone ho ntsha sekwebo se nepahetseng tlamehile ke shebe hore molao wona o re seo se etswa jwang. Ntho ya pele tlamehile ke shebe molato o entsweng, ke shebe motho seemo sa hae sa bophelo, ke shebe hape hore setjhaba sona se ikutlwa jwang ka batho ba lahlwang ka dinyewe tse tshwanang le tsena.
I should also consider as part of the triad the need that there be deterrence.
Kanti ke futhi okunye umthetho okushoyo ngalokukhipha isigwebo esifanele ngalendlela ukuthi fanele yenze isiqiniseko sokuthi isigwebo engizosikhipha sizoba isigwebo esizonqanda sekwebo se ke tshwanetseng ke se ntse ho ya ka molao ke sekwebo se leng hore se tlo thibela batho ba bang ba leng ka ntle hore ba ska etsa ntho tse tshwanang le tsena.
And that the punishment which is imposed should also act as a deterrent towards other persons who are in society and might or have committed or intend to commit such crimes.
Isigwebo esizonqanda ukuthi umuntu angaphinda yenze lento ayenzile nokuthi ke isigwebo sonqanda abanye abantu abangaphandle nabo abangahle mhlambe babe bebangaba abantu abazoyenza lento enyenzile nabamangalelwa. Jwale sigwebo se sitlamile sibe sigwebo se tlo thibelang motho yena hore a ska hlola a etsa hape ntho e ntseng le hore ke thibele batho ba bang ba ka ntle ba le bona ne ba ka etsa ntho tse tshwanang le tsena hore ba ska hlola ba di etsa.
I should also have regard to the fact that there is a requirement that the accused have an opportunity of rehabilitation and that such opportunity be recognized in the appropriate punishment which is imposed.
Kanti ke futhi okunye engizothathela enhlokolana ukuthi noma khishwa isigwebo leso esifanele kufanele ukuthi kube khona semqondweni wami ukuthi isigwebo lesi noma ukushaywa kwabo kube ngendlela yokuthi bazobe basizakale bahlumeleliswe isimilo sabo ngaso lesi sigwebo. Hathi lisona sigwebo se hantse ke sintsa jwalo ke ba fa sigwebo tlamile ke nkele hlohong hore ebe sigwebo se ile hore se tlo ba thusa se khone hore se ba khutlisetse boemong ba bona ba botho.
I should not with a sledgehammer so destroy the accused that they feel there is no hope for the future.
Akufanele ukuthi ngivele nje ngibaqindezele ngibanyathelele phansi baze bayizwele sengathi alisekho ithemba lekusasa kubo. Kuyathwanela hore ke re ha ke ntsa sigwebo ebe sigwebo se ileng hore se tlo ba hatella hore ba ikutlwele hore ha ba batho ba letho ba ibile ba bone hore bokamoso ba bona ha boyo.
I must also remind myself that the purpose of punishment is also to punish.
Funeke futhi ngizikhumbuze ukuthi uyabona isathu sokuthi umuntu ahlwayiwe noma ke umuntu aphanishwe ukuthi lo muntu funeke ahlwayiwe aphanishwe. Hape ntho engwe ke tshwanetseng ho hopotsa yona ko hore ha motho a fuwa sigwebo jwalo ba ikemisetso hantle ntle ko hore motho enwa a fumane kotlo.
If persons are not appropriately punished, it makes a mockery of this criminal system and the rights of society that people who commit offences are appropriately punished.
Uma ngabe ke umuntu akahlwayiwa noma akaphanishwa ngendlela efanele lokho kwenza ukuthi inkantolo zibe inhlekisa emphakathini ukuthi ke futhi kuye kuvuke izimpi emphakathini lapha abantu bayithathela umthetho ezandleni. Ngalokho kufanele ukuthi ukhishwe uhlwayo olufanele. Jwale haiba ha ke ntse kotlo e tshwanetseng seo setsa hore batho ba tsheise ka molao wa rona mo South Africa hore dikoto tsa rona ha di ntse molao o tshwanetseng. Hape seo setsa hape le hore batho ba ka ntle setjhaba ba qale hore ho tsuwa dintwa ba batla hore batho ba otliwe ka tsela e tshwanetseng.
The feature of punishment is that punishment should be imposed in a temperate way, not in a rage and not to reflect anger, but rather to reflect an appropriate, measured response to the conduct of the accused.
Kanti ke punishment efanele ikhishwe ke yona ifanele ikhishwe kahle ngomoya owehlile kungabi engakhishwa ngentukuthelo ukwenzela ukuthi ke umuntu azothola ipunishment efanele yena hayi ukuthi iphume ngoba naku ethuthelelwe. Hayi likotlo yona tlamile ho tswe kotlo eka tsela e nepahetseng e seng ka ho halifa ho etsetsa hore motho a tle a kgone ho thola kotlo e tshwanetseng a sa halifelwa.
Lawyers colloquially refer to this aspect of punishment as a degree of mercy.
Abameli bona banokuhlala njalo bekhuluma ngokuthi i-punishment lena isilinganiso esifanele ihambisane nesilinganiso esithile sozwelo. Hangata ba emedi bana le hore ba bueta ba ya hore ha motho a fuwa kotlo sekgwebong sa hae tlamaile kotlo e tsamaisane le mohao o itseng tekanyo e itseng ya mohao.
And I should also take into account the effect which the punishment which I impose upon the accused will have on the immediate family of each of the accused, on his wives, on his wife or wives, and on his children, and on those persons who have emotional and financial bonding with him.
Kanti ke futhi okunye fanele ngibheke ukuthi uma ngikhipha isigwebo lesi fanele ngicabanga ukuthi isigwebo lesi sizoba thinta kanjani abantu bomndeni wakhe loyo muntu unkosikazi abantwana na labo bantu bomndeni abathembele kuye ukuthi uyaba supporta ngeimali na ngayiphi indlela na hape tlamile ha ke ntsha sigwebo ke sheba hore sigwebo seo si ba ama ha kakang batho ba family ya hae motho o eleng mosadi bana le batho ba ileng hore ba lebeletse ho yena hore a ba thuse ka tšhelete le hore a ba support.
This is not to say that the rights of the children and wife or wives of each of the accused should be so treated as to prevent the accused being incarcerated if incarceration is a proper punishment.
Lokho akusho ukuthi ke amalungelo wabo lababantu abawumndeni njengabantwana baka mangale lokuthi babe nomuntu obawondlayo umuntu ozoba khona lapho lokho kuvimbele ukuthi ngingabathumeli ejele fela a ke atlameha hore ke sebedise ditokelo tsa bana ba eleng family ya motsuwa ke di sebedise ho etsa hore ke dintibele hore ke ska isa motsuwa tronkong.
What it means is that I must have present in the forefront of my mind the devastating impact which incarceration will have upon them by the deprivation of the friendship and comfort of a loved one, and also of the financial effects of his inability to provide for them.
Lokho kusho kona ukuthi fanele ngithathele emqondweni ukuthi uma umuntu ethunyelwa ejele abantwana laba kusho ukuthi abasazukuba nabo ubudlelwano noma lobuyabudlelwano bebenabo nalomuntu njengoba ethunyelwe ejele nokuthi ke sebancintshwa lokhu bekade impilo le bekade benayo ngaphambi kokuthi lo muntu athunyelwe ejele. So sihlalisa hore na tlamile ke lelong ya ka ke be ke na le se sa hore ha motho ena a rometse tronkong bana ba hae family ya hae ha sa tloba le monyetla o ne bana le ona pele ya hore ba be le yena ba thole se ne ba se thola pele a romelwa tronkong.
Insofar as the crimes of which the accused have been committed are concerned, I've dealt with each of these crimes in detail at the time when I convicted each of the accused of the crimes of which he was convicted.
Mailana namacala aba lahlwe ngawo abamangalelwa ngalesi sikhathi ke ngichaza ngiphana futhi nange judgment ngichaza nezathu lapho ke ngachaza kabanzi indlela amacala enzeke ngakhona namacala lawa omunye nomunye alahlwe ngawo ha re tla mo tabeng ya dinyewe tse batho bana bathusiwa ba lahlweng ka tsona ke le ka hlalosa ka tiba ka nako ne ke hlalosa ka dinyewe tsena ibile ke hlalosa mabaka a ho ba lahla ka dinyewe tsena ka nako ne ke tsa judgment.
In that judgment I dealt with the extent of the involvement of each particular accused and the reason why that involvement meant that they should be convicted.
Ngiyengachaza kabanzi ku judgment yami ukuthi omunye nomunye wabandanyeka kangakanani kulamacala awenzile nokuthi ke lokho kubandanyeka kwabo kwenza ukuthi ngibalahle ngamacala. Kile ka hlalosa ho judgment yaka ntho kapa tsela ba ileng ba ikenya ka teng ho etseng melato le hore le mabaka a etsang hore nna ke ba bone ba le melato mo melatong le ba shebane ka ona le ona.
Insofar as the drug-related crimes were concerned, namely count 1, there is a range of punishment between 0 and 25 years.
Kanti ke ecaleni leloqala ikakhulu lecaleni lokuqala eli leyidakamizwa ke lapho ngiye ngasho ukuthi ipunishment yakhona noma isigwebo siba kusukela eminyakeni ewu0 kuya kuminyaka ewu25 kile katsho hore motusong ya pele ya dititifatsi kotlo ya teng e tloela ho dilemo tse o tloela ho 0 ho ya ho dilemo tse 25.
That range of imprisonment can be coupled with a fine.
Kanti ke leyo punishment ingaba isigwebo saphakathi ejele esihambisana nefine ethile ebe kotlo eo ekaba kotlo ya tronkong e tsamaisanang le fine.
The state disavowed reliance upon any minimum sentencing provisions.
Motšhotšhisi yena o jetsitse lekgotla hore yena o lebeletse hore lekgotla lena le sebedise molao o beileng sekwebo se lekaneng dinyewe tse le lahlilweng ka tsona. Kanti ke umtšhotšhisi yena o ye watshela inkantolo ukuthi yena usethembele ekutheni inkantolo ikhiphe isigwebo kuya ngalokhu umthetho uthi isigwebo sakhona siphume ngakhona.
When considering the extent or the number of years which should be imposed, I will and do have regard to the question of proportionality.
Kanti ke uma ngizobheka isigwebo noma iminyaka efanele ukuthi ke ngikhiphe yona esigwebo kuzofanele ngibheke ukuthi ke le iminyaka ezosetshenziswa ngayiphi indlela. Ati ha ke fihla mo tabeng ya hore ke lemo tse kae tse ke tlameileng ke di ntshe ke tlo sheba hape le hore dilemo tsena di tlo sebetsa ka tsela efe.
Proportionality involves a consideration of the range of seriousness of the offence versus the actual seriousness of the offence committed by the particular accused.
Lokho kusho kona ukuthi ngizobheka ukuthi ingabe amaphi amacala amabi kakhulu enziwe ilaba bamangalelwa noma amaphi amacala anjani enziwe ilaba bamangalelwa. So sitsho hore ke tlo sheba hore na ke ditsoso tsefe tse leng di be haholo tse nditsweng ke bakiswa bana ke tse feng di tsoso tse leng hore di fapane le tse dingwe ha di dibe ka tsela eo.
It also includes a consideration of relationship of the punishment and crime vis-a-vis the punishment and crimes committed by others.
Lokho ke futhi nako kuzobe kusho kona kuzobe kusho ukuthi fanele ngibheke ukuthi punishment lena izosebenzisana kanjani necala noma ke punishment isebenzisana kanjani nesisigwebo. Punishment ena yona itlo sebetsa jwang sebedisana jwang le ditloso hape le hore ke punishment itlo tsamaisana jwang le dikwebo tsa teng.
This means the more serious the crime, the heavier the punishment.
Lokho kusho kona ukuthi isisindo secala sizothola isigwebo esisindayo. Sewusitsho hore botebo ba qoso botlothola qoso eo e tlothola sekwebo se dileng le sona se tibileng.
And that heavier punishment must be compared with other punishments.
Nokuthi ke leso sigwebo esisindayo kufanele siqhathaniswe nezinye igwebo le hore kotlo eo edingwe.
In applying the principle of proportionality, one must not lose sight of the requirements of the triad, namely the person, the crime, and society.
Uma ke kukhishwa isigwebo ngaleyo ndlela akufanelanga ukuthi inkantolo ibekele eceleni le eshiwo umthetho iyicala lona ngokwalo isimo sempilo somuntu kanye nomphakathi ukuthi wona uzizwa kanjani jwalo he lekgotla lena ha la tlameha hore le bele ka thoko dintho tse molao o di buileng ha ho ntshuwa sekwebo e leng qoso ka boyona botebo ba yona semo sa motho sa bophelo le hore batho e leng setjhaba bona ba ikutlwa jwang ka ntho tsa itseng.
This means that while I have regard to the general position, I must not lose sight of the fact that punishment must be personalized and be particular for each particular accused.
Lokho kusho kona ukuthi uma ke umuntu enikezwa isigwebo kufanele leso sigwebo sibe isigwebo esiqondena naloyo muntu esifanele yena ngokwakhe. So sitshora ha kentsha kotlo tlamele kotlo eo ebe kotlo e shebaneng le motho yena o e tshwanetseng yena a le mong.
The discussion which I've just entered upon, indicates the need to balance a variety of issues.
Kanti ke lokho ngiceda ukuchaza khona manje kusho kona ukuthi ufanele ngiyenze isiqiniseko sokuthi ngilinganisa izinto ezimbalwa lana. Seo sitsho hore tlamehile hore ke etse bonnete ba hore ke lekanya dintlha tse mmalwa mona.
Insofar as the crime is concerned, it appears to me that the crime which was committed in relation to the drug offence was of the most severe nature.
Kanti ke uma ngibheka amacala ngokwawo ngizobheka icala leli ledakamizwa kimi kubonakala ukuthi icala leli ledakamizwa yilo kanye icala elibi kakhulu. Jalo ha ke sheba mo tabeng ya diqoso ke tlo nka qoso ena ya dititifatsi ke bona ele yona qoso e mpe haholo.
As far as accused 1 and 2 are concerned, it is apparent from the judgment which I handed down in relation to their conviction that they were engaged upon a serious illicit activity involving the export of 25 kilograms of what, as far as was established in respect of number 2, is known as ice or methamphetamine.
Kanti ke number 1 no number 2 kuyacaca ukuthi ke bona ukubandanyeka kwabo kwabanga ngokuthi beku yebo benza nohlelo lokuthi idakamizwa lezi zithuthwe zisuswe kwenye indawo ziswe kwenye indawo okuthiwa ke isilinganiso sazo 25 kilogram zibizwa nge-ice. Jalo mo tabeng yona e ya dititifatsi number 1 le number 2 e bona la e ka re bona kamano ya bona mo melatong enele empe haholo ka tsela ya hore ho bona la hore bona ba babedi ke batho ba ne ba etsa dihlophiso tsa ho tsamaisa dititifatsi ho tloha plekeng e lengwe o ya ho plekeng e lengwe di ka bang dikanyo ya tsona 25 kilograms di bitswa ice.
These are not persons dealing in drugs on the streets or conveying drugs from one country to another. These are persons dealing in significant quantities of drugs.
Laba bekungebona abantu abahambisa idakamizwa eitradweni noma ke idakamizwa kusuka kwelinye izwe ukuya kwelinye izwe. Bekuabantu ababekade behambisa idakamizwa eziningi kakhulu. Bana nese batho bane ba tsamaisa dititifatsi fela mo strateng kapa ho tloa
who were planning
country engwe ya ho country engwe ne ile batho bane ba sebetsa ka di-drugs tse ngata haholo.
Who were planning and in the process of executing the plan to export the drugs to Australia.
Bona ke bekade be plana futhi ke benza isiqiniseko sokuthi benza uhlelo lokuthi bafezekise ama-plan wabo ngokuhambisa idakamizwa ziye eAustralia. Batho bana ne ile batho ba ile hore ba etsa dihlophiso ba etse le dihlophiso hape tsa ho phethahatsa dihlophiso tse tsa ho tsamaisa di-drugs ho ya Australia.
As far as accused 1 is concerned, he was convicted of an attempt.
Number 1 ke yena ulahlwe ngecala lokuzama
The reason that he was convicted of an attempt was that the drugs were lost to the state, could not be analyzed, and accordingly there was no analysis of what they actually were.
Number 1 nje belahlwe ngicala lokuzama ke yena libe icala lokuzama ngoba lezo idakamizwa zalahleka ngale ndlela kwangakwaziwa ukuthi ziyohlolwa zicwaningwe kwaziwa ukuthi zazingakanani zinjani futhi mothuso wa pele yena ile lahlwa kanyewe ya ho leka ho tsamaisa dititifatsi o lahlwe ka tsela eo ka lebaka la hore dititifatsi di le tsa lahleha ba ska kgonahala hore di lo hlahlobiwa ho bona hore di kakang kapa ke eng.
It was apparent from the evidence that accused one intended to deal in the drugs, which were admittedly such, pursuant to the other evidence which was before me.
Cacile ke ukuthi number 1 wayefuna nje yena ukuthi adile ngala ma drugs ngokuthi awasuse kwenye indawo awayise kwenye indawo njengoba kulethwe phambi kwami. Mothuso wa pele yena ho hlakile hore ne le motho o na le ka hore a tsamaise di drugs ho tloa tulong e lengwe ho ya ho tulo e nngwe jwalo ka ha ho tlisitswe pele haka.
That evidence was inadmissible against what the drugs were. The evidence of what the drugs were was inadmissible against accused number 1.
Lobo bufakazi bokuthi lawo ma drugs bekuhlobo luni lwama drugs abumukelwanga la inkantolo njengobufakazi obubhekiswe kuwe number 1.
Hence his conviction could only be of an attempt.
Ngalokho ke kwatholakala ukuthi usulahlwa ngecala lokuzama ukuhambisa idakamizwa.
Nonetheless, it is apparent that he intended to deal in the drugs which were dealt in by accused 2.
Noma kunjalo ke kwacaca ukuthi wena inhloso yakho kwakuthi ke uzodilisha ngama drugs okwatholakala ukuthi drugs lawa uzowadila ngawo ano number 2. Number 1 koso ya ho lika ho tsamaisa di titifatsi ka lebaka la hore hona le bopaki bo tlisitsweng mo pela le khutla lena bo ileng hore aba amohelwa hore ka se tshediswa khatlanong le yena number 1 la o le jwalo yena o ile alahlwa ka nyewe ya ho leka ho tsamaisa di titifatsi ka lebaka la tshebetso ya hae le number 2.
The evidence established that he was the mastermind, being referred to as the boss.
Ubufakazi obulethwe lana enkantolo kwaba ubufakazi obuveza ukuthi number 1 beka ungqondo futhi ke wayebizwa ngoboss. Number 1 yena he hule wa 3 neli yena motho o na etsa dihlophiso ka tsela e feletseng ibile a bitswa ka boss.
His moral blameworthiness, in my view, is the same as accused number 2.
Kanti ke number 1 ke naye uthinteka nje ngendlela efanele no number 2 la kulecala. Number 1 le yena jwalo ka number 2 le yena ntse ho tshwana tshebetso ha ntse e tshwana fela le number 2.
Although it is a little out of sequence, I propose to deal with the question of society in relation to the drugs.
Ngokwenza izinto ke ngokulandelana khona manje sengizongena endabeni yomphakathi ukuthi wona uzizwa kanjani. Uyakatatelo ne adintho sekitlo bua ka ho ameha ha setjhaba hore setjhaba sona se ikutla jwang ka melato e tshwanang le.
I'm required to consider the interests of society as part of the triad. The question is, what is that society?
Dingekile ke ukuthi inkantolo yona ibheke ukuthi umphakathi wona uzizwa kanjani ngezinto ezinjengalezo. Umthetho wona ke uthi ingabe yini lokho. Jwale lekgotla lena le tlamile hore lona le shebe ditabatabelo tsa setšhaba jalo molao ona o re yona ntho ke eng ditabatabelo tsa setšhaba.
Traditionally, the society which is referred to is the society of the country in which the crime was committed and where the punishment is being meted out.
Phakathi ke wona othintekayo lana umphakathi okungaba umphakathi esihlala kuwo kanye nezwe lonke nje elumzansi elithintekayo kanye nala kwenziwe khona icala leli lokhanjiswa kweyidakamizwa okumzansi jalo sewusihlalusa sitshaba jalo ka batho ba dulang ho sona hape le South Africa ka boyona mo go etsaetseng ketsahalo ena teng.
There are agreements in respect to which certain extremely serious crimes such as genocide are dealt with in an international court.
Bona ke kukhona amacala athile oke kuvunyelwane ngawo hlaba wonke njengamacala okubulawa kwabantu ngendlela engafanele jalo ke ntho re ka dumelana ka yona re le lefatshe kaofela go tshwana le dinyewe tse tshwanang le go bulawa ha batho ka tsela e sa tshwanelang.
And where nations of the world have recognized that certain crimes are either so repugnant or so widespread in their effect that steps need to be taken to deal with them at an international level.
Kanti ke kukhona amacala esivumelana ngawo thina sonke nje umhlaba jikelele ukuthi ke amacala asihlukumeza thina sonke amacala afanayo nokuthi kufanele ukuthi lawo macala lawo uma abantu bepunishwa ngawo khishwe i-punishment efanayo wonke umuntu ibe le hore hona le diketsahalo tse tshwanang tse tsahalang lefatsheng kaofela tse leng hore di re ama rona kaofela re le lefatshe jalo tsona dintho tseo ke dintho tse leng hore di tlamele di fuwe kotlo e tshwanang.
And that situation does not exist in the present crime.
Lapho kuleyo ndawo ke akuna silinganiso esibekiwe sokuthi kufanele umuntu athunyelwe ejele isikhathi esingakanani mohe hauna tikanyo ebekiweng hore motho uyatronkona ke kaka.
Nonetheless, in the present matter, the crime involves the potential of conduct within the Republic of South Africa having an international effect.
Kanti ke endabeni le yokuvalelwa kwabantu thina la eMzansi kuyekubonakala ukuthi ke into ethinta umhlaba wonke ngokwenzeka kwamacala akhona la makufanele abantu bathunyelwe ejele athi hari sheba kotlo kapa romela wa batho tronkong ikintho eleng hore yetsahala mo South Africa e ama lefatshe kaofela.
In that the drugs which were destined to leave this country would ultimately arrive in another country, in particular Australia, where they would have an effect.
Ngoba idakamizwa lezi ezazizosuka la eSouth Africa zazizothunyelwa eAustralia lapho ke bekuzoba khona impilo ezithintekayo ngenxa ya leidakamizwa ngalebaka la hore dititifatsi tsene di tlo ha monane di tlo ya lefatsheng le lengwe e leng Austria lona mo hona le maphelo ana tlo ameha ka yona ntho.
In the modern day, it is not uncommon for acts in one country to have impacts in another.
Kulesikhathi esiphila kuso akuyona nto emangalisayo ukuthi isenzo esenziwa kwelinye izwe sithinte elinye izwe mo matsatsing a re phelang ho ona a o makatso hore ketso etsahalang country enngwe etsahale I ame country enngwe.
The classic example is cybercrime, where a keystroke in one country can instantaneously have an effect in multiple countries worldwide.
Umzekelo nje uyabona isenzo esibe senzeka kwelinye izwe leso senzo siyakwazi ukuthi sithinte kabi izwe elinye ekungelona leli ngendlela engayinhlalo re ka sheba fela mohlala ntwe etsahalang naheng engwe khona hore e ame naha engwe ha bohloko.
It seems to me that in respect of the particular offence, that this court is empowered to and should consider the multinational impact of the crime.
Cacile ke kimi ukuthi ke kulokho esibhekane nako lana kufanele ukuthi inkantolo ibheke ukuthi kuthinteka abantu abangakana nomhlaba wonke ngecala elinjengaleli. Njalo mona tabeng e re leng ho yona tlamehile lekgotla lena le shebe hore na ho ameha batho ba ba kakang lefatshe ka bophara ka ketso e etsahalang ke se lekgotla lena le tlamehile ho se sheba.
This can be achieved, and in my view should be achieved, by adopting a broad definition of the concept of society so as to include not only the local society of the Republic but also the other societies which are impacted.
Ngokwami kuyacaca ukuthi kufanele nibhekisise kahle incazelo yokuthi umphakathi uyini ngibheke ukuthi lokho akusho nje umphakathi lo thina esiphila kuwo la ezweni lakithi ngibheke nje umphakathi ezweni emhlabeni wonke jikelele sewusitsho hore tlamele ke shebe hlaloso ya setjhaba hore hantle setjhaba ke eng ke shebe hore setjhaba a se fela batho ba leng mo naheng ya rona fela e fela ke setjhaba ka kakaretso ya batho ba lefatshe kaofela.
The court, in my view, should not be short-sighted and fail to acknowledge that there is and can be a worldwide effect, and that it should grapple with the need to give countries comfort.
Mina ke ngokubona kwami kubalulekile kakhulu ukuthi ngabekele eceleni indaba yokuthi kunabanye abantu abangaphandle kwalelizwe lethu abathintekayo kulento ngaleyo ndlela ke kufanele ukuthi ngenze imizamo ukuthi ngikwazi ukuthi nginikeze amazwe angaphandle komzansi iComfort abayidingayo ngokuthi ngingavumeli amacala njengalawa anganikezwe isigwebo esifanele njalo na ngitlamele kishebe ketse boniti ba hore batho ba amehang kantle le bona nna jwalo ka lekgotla ke ntletse segwebo se tshwanetseng se tlo thusang hore batho ba bang ba kgone ho phela bophelo ka tsela e betere.
That to the best extent possible their safety will be considered and accepted if it is an issue.
Nokuthi ke futhi ukuvikeleka kwabo nokuphila ngendlela ephephile lokho kuyinto efanele ithathwele emqondweni ngokhipha isigwebo esifanele le hore hape tshireletso ya bona lo phela bophelo bo tshireletsehileng tlamehile seo se shebiwe ka hore ho ntsuwe isigwebo se tshwanetseng.
In the current case, the Australians, in my view, are entitled to be comforted that this court will take appropriate steps to deter conduct and to punish offenders and have regard to their interests in doing so.
Kanti la kulecala leli umphakathi wase-Australia noma izwe lase-Australia ke lona belizoba ke izwe elithintekayo kakhulu ngalokho ke kufanele ukuthi inkantolo yenze isiqiniseko sokuthi iyabavikela emacaleni anjengalawo bangathinteki ngalokho okwenzeka la ezweni lethu seo sitsho hore tlamehile ke nkele hlohong batho ba Australia mo dithithefatsing di a teng etsa bonnete hore ba tshireletseha ba ska ameha ka tsela ene ba tlamehile ba ameha ka yona ka lebaka la se etsaetseng naheng ya rona.
This introduces into the topic of society the facet of deterrence.
Bona ke uma sibheka ukuthi umphakathi wona uzizwa kanjani kufanele sibheke incazelo yalokho mona tlamehile re shebe hore hantle hlaloso ya ditabatabelo tsa setjhaba ke eng.
In my view, deterrence should be considered in the light of the extended society to which I referred.
Mina ngokubona kwami ke ukunqanda lokho kuyinto ekwazi ukusebenzela umphakathi njengoba ngangishilo ukuthi kunqandwa umuntu yena lo enza icala ukunqandwa futhi nabanye abantu abasazokwenza icala uma ngabe bazolenza nakabona ha ke bua ka ho thibela ho nna ho thibela ke jalo ka ke hlalositse ho thibela motho ya lehleng ka molato etseng le ho thibela batho ba bangwe ba ileng hore le bona ne ba le tsileng ya hore ba kana ba etsa ntho tshwanang le eo.
This is not to say that a court should impose an unconstitutional or disproportionately severe sentence. What it means is that a court must realistically have regard to the impact on all persons wherever they may be.
Lokho phela akusho ukuthi inkantolo ifanele ivele nje idilize igwebo ezingekho emthethweni engafanele futhi kodwa ke kusho ukuthi inkantolo ifanele ikhiphe isigwebo esifanele ukwenzela ukuthi kuvikeleke abantu noma ngabe kukuphi lapho bekhona khona seo asitsho hore lekgotla le tlamile fela le tlise kotlo e sa tshwanelang kotlo e leng hore ha e molaong fela tlamile ho ntshuwe kotlo e tshwanetseng e tlo etsang bonnete ba hore e tshireletsa batho kae kapa kae mo ba leng teng.
So much for the interposition of those concepts in relation to count 1.
Kalukhulukazi ke la kule cala lokuqala le itakamizwa holo mo qosong e ya pele e ya dititifatsi.
So far as counts 2 and 3 are concerned, that is count 2, the kidnapping, it appears to me that the kidnapping is of a prolonged and aggravated nature.
Cala lesibili nelesithathu elesibili leloku thumba umuntu noma ke ukidnapper bodakala sengathi kube icala kube isenzo esithethe isikhathi futhi ke isenzo esenziwa ngendlela enesihluku mo ditusong 2 le 3 2 ke e ya ho kidnapper motho na ke bona tuso ena ele tuso e etsahetseng nako e telle e be le hore motho ona hlikifetswa mo.
I've dealt fully with the facts in the judgment when convicting the accused who were convicted of this count and do not propose to reiterate all those facts. I'll merely highlight a few of them.
Kantolo ke ibisichazile kabanzi lokho okuhambisana lokukidnapwa komuntu kulaba mangalelwa laba abalahlwe ngale cala leli lokukidnapa umuntu. Inkantolo ayizimisele ukuthi iphindele emva iyophinda yonke into eyikhulume ngesikhathi se-judgment izothi nje capu lapha yana nalapha yana lekgotla lena le re se le hlalositse dintlha ka botlalo ka nako ya judgment mo nyeweng ena ya ho kidnapwa ha motho ha ya ikemisetsa lekgotla lena ha le ikemisetsa hore le kgotlele moraho le phete dintho kaofela tse di hlalositsweng ka nako ya judgment fela le tlanka mane le mane.
The purpose of the kidnap was to take and contain the victim and force him to disclose the whereabouts of his brother.
Inhloso yokuthwalwa noma kuthunjwa kwalomuntu lona bekuwukuthi ayobekwa endaweni ethile ngaphandle kwentando yakhe nokuthi aphoqelelwe ukuthi yena akhiphe information ethile. Jwale he hantle maikemisetso ya a ho kidnap ha motho o ne ile hore a nkuwe motho a beiwe plekeng 18 le hore yena a qobellwe hore a ntshe information 18.
In the course of the kidnap, the accused, the victim was brutalized, was assaulted by boiling water being poured over him, and otherwise detained for some 5 days. At one point was aware that a firearm was in close proximity.
Kanti ke ngalesikhathi ekidnapwe kanjalo o mangalilona wagcinwa insuku ezinhlanu nokuthi ke khona lapho wahlukunyezwa kakhulu wathelwa ngamanzi abilayo kuye nokuthi ngaleso sikhathi leso abeloku egcinwe ngaso wonke lawo malanga lawo wabona ukuthi kwakukhona nesibhamu esasikhona lapho hape motabeng e ya ho kidnapwa ha motho antsa beilwe jwalo o ile a hlikifetswa haholo ka tsela empe le hore o ile a tshelwa ka metsi a betseng hape nako yohle ntse a kidnapwa jwalo motho ena o le a bona hore sethunya le sona ne se le teng hona mo bona bewe teng mo le batho ba ne ba le teng le yena.
In the course of the kidnap, he was also transported to various places with a view to finding and capturing his brother, as also forced to telephone or speak to him.
Ekidnapwe anjalo lo muntu wa loku suswa kwenye indawo eswa kwenye indawo ezimbalwa lapho ayiswa khona ngoba bekuthiwa kufanele ayokhomba lapho umfowabo ekhona khona nokuthi ke futhi kunala enziwa ukuthi efone khona efonele umfowabo ukuze atholakale bazokwazi ukumbamba hape muthena hanansa a kidnapwe jwalo ba ile ba tsamalena ba motloswa tulong e lengwe ho ya tulong e nngwe hape jwalo etsahala ba tsamaya le ena hobane ba batla hore a lo ba supa mo abuti wa hae a leng teng ya ba ka dinako tse ding ba mo qobella hore a founele abuti wa hae o tsetsa hore ba tla kgona ho mo tshwara.
At one time he was asked when he was uncooperative whether he would like to die like a soldier.
Kunesikhathi la ebengafuni ukusebenzisana nalabo bantu abamthumbile wayesebuzwa ukuthi ufuna ukufa njengesoldier yini. Hona le nako mo ona sa batla ho sebedisana le bona batho bane ba mo kidnapile ya ba wa botswa hore na o batla ho shwa jwalo ka lesona.
There is no doubt that throughout the period that he was held by his captors that he suffered severe anguish.
Kanti ke futhi akukho ukungabaza ukuthi ngaso lesikhathi sonke ethunjwe laba bantu benayo lapho loyo muntu loyo waba ngaphansi kwengcindezi nokuthi wahlukumezeka kakhulu. Ibile mo auna hore re tlo belaela hore ka nako e motho o a kidnapiweng ka yona ana le batho ba ke motho e leng hore o ile a hlekefetswa haholo.
He also suffered the physical injuries and the assaults which form some of which form the subject matter of the attempted murder.
Wathola nokulimala emzimbeni wakhe lokho kulimala okunye kwako kwabonakala ukuthi ukulimala okwakuzanywa ukuthi abulawe ebele hore mothena o ile a limala le mo meleng wa hae tse dingwe tsa ditemalo tseo ne le ditemalo tse ileng hore ne di bontsha hore ne le ho leka ho mo bolaya.
The assault which constituted the attempted murder, in my view, is also of an extremely aggravated nature.
Kanti ke lokulimala lokhu engithi mina kubonisa ukuthi bekuzanywa ukuthi abulawe lokho ngokwako nje ukukhombisa kona ukuthi kwenza icala libe libi kakhulu libe bucala. Hathi ditimalo tse ke hlalosang tsona hore ke ditimalo tse bontshang hore ne le tiko ya hore abulawe ke seo sona se tsa hore nyewe ena e benyewe empe haholo.
The pouring of a kettle full of boiling water over his head, in my view, is a seriously violent act.
Ukuthelwa ngamanzi abilayo ekhanda lakhe lokhu kimi ku isenzo esinodlame kakhulu. Hothelwa ha metsi abilang mo hlohong ho nna seo se bontsha hore ke ketso e bontshang hlekefetso e tetseng ntwa haholo.
Which, while it coincidentally may have resulted in relatively minor sequelae, no doubt at the time constituted severe pain for the victim.
Kanti ke ukushiswa kwakhe ngala manzi lawa noma lokemva kwesikhathi kuyobonakala ukuthi wathola nje ukulimala okutheni kodwa ngalesi sikhathi ethelwa ngawo lamanzi kuyacaca ukuthi wezwa ubuhlungu obukhulu kakhulu. Jwale la wile wa bonala ka mora hana ko hore mothona o ile a thola ditimalo tse jwang fela ho hlakile hore ka nako e nantsa tshelwa ka metsi a abetseng bohlohong o ile a utlwa bohloko haholo.
It is true that at a point he was given some medication for the injuries.
Kuyiqiniso ukuthi ke kunesikhathi la anikezwa khona imithi yokuthi asebenzise la kulokulimala akutholile enhloko.
It is also true that certain of the accused were opposed to killing him, notwithstanding that was the suggestion of accused one.
Kuyiqiniso futhi ukuthi kunabanye kulabamangalelwa ababephikisana nokubulawa kwakhe lo muntu ukuthi lo mqondo ukuthi abulawe kwakuwumqondo oze nomangalelwa number 1. Jole he hona le bathusuwa ba bang ho bathusuwa bana ba ile hore bona ne ba le khatlanong ho bulawa hae ebele hore taba ena ya hore abulawe ne le ntwe tlileng ka number 1.
While those acts may show some compassion on the part of the accused, they in no way, in my view, lessen the aggravated assault.
Noma lokhu ke isenzo salaba mangalelo laba bebephikisana nokubulawa kwakhe lokho kukhombisa ukuthi bebenozwelo kuye. Kimi nje akusho ukuthi kunciphisa ububi balesi senzo senzeke lapho ngaleso sikhathi. La hayilo hore ketso ya bathusuwa ba bang ba ne ba le khatlanong le ho bulawa ha hae e bonsa kutlelo bohloko ya bona e bana le yona ho yena seo honna asitsho hore ntho e theosa bobe ba ketso ya lona letsatsi leo.
The assault of which accused 4 was convicted was of an insignificant nature.
Number 4 icala leli lokuhlasela leli unumber 4 alahlwe ngalo libe icala elibi. Number 4 olahlwe ka qoso e ya ho shapa motho kapa uhlasela
And
qoso embi eo.
And forced to be dealt with specially for that reason.
Kantolo ke yaphoqeleka ukuthi ke ithi kungena la kule ndaba le yokulahlwa kwakho number 4 ngecala leli lokuhlasela umuntu lekgotla le tlamile hore le kene mo tabeng yona e.
It was an assault involving some manhandling.
Beku ukuhlaselwa komuntu ngendlela yokuthi waye phathwa ngendlela engafanele eneli hlaselo leng hore e tsaitse ka tsela hore motho o ona tshwarwa hampe.
And not much more than that.
Akukho okungaphezulu kwalokho.
The position of accused number 5 in relation to the conviction on count 1 where he was convicted of an attempt also forced to be dealt with specially.
Kanti ke ukulahla kwecala number 5 ke yena la icaleni lokuzama icaleni lokuqala lokuzama nalo ke lelo icala elizothi ukubhekisiswa then le number 5 ka qoso alahlweng ka yona eling qoso ya pele ya ho leka le yona qoso eo ke qoso eleng tlamele shebe.
He was not part of the management of the dealing in drugs.
Ebengeyona ngxenye yokumanejwa kwalesi senzo soku hambiswa kwamaqwa yena ene ese omongo wa o manager tsamaiso kapa hlophiso ya tsamaiswa ha di thetefatse.
He, to use a colloquial word, was an enforcer.
Nokuthi ke yena isenzo sakhe nje saba isenzo esukudane nesenzo lesi sasenziwa lapho le hore yena ka tsela a ekenyeng itso ka teng ne se ka tsela eleng hakalo.
The position of the police who are convicted falls to be dealt with.
Kanti ke indaba le yokulahlwa ngecala kwamaphoyisa into okufanele ukuthi ithi ukukhulunywe ngayo ichazwe manje.
They all hold rank.
Bonke ba abantu abaseyikhundleni banama rank.
They are all highly intelligent, well-trained members of the South African police and involved in intelligence units, and at least one of them involved in drug-related offence control.
Bonke laba mangalela laba beba abantu abahlakaniphile kakhulu ba abantu futhi abasebenza kuma units labe kusetshenzwa khona kuma intelligence units.
They are
oyedwa nje yena bekade ke yena esebenza ngophenyo lwedakamizwa. Batho bana kaofela ke batho ba bohlale ba ileng hore bona ne ba sebetsa di-uniting tsa batho ba sebedisa bohlale ho etsa difuputso tsa dinyewe. Yo mongwe wa bona ibile yena ene le yo mongwe wa batho ba ne ba fuputsa dinyewe tsa dititifatsi.
They are employed by society and provided with tools by society to combat crime.
Baqhashwe umphakathi laba bantu kanjalo nje baphinde futhi benze amacala anjengalawa khona la kulomphakathi ozwenza ukuthi ke uthinte umphakathi ngendlela engafanele. Batho bana ke batho ba hiruleng ke setjhaba ba tla hape ba tlo etsa mesebetsi tshwanang le ona mo setjhabeng mo ileng hore setjhaba se tlo ameha ke mesebetsi ya bona kapa ketso ya bona.
These are the very people who abuse the trust society has placed in them, as also the tools which society has given them to combat trade, to combat crime.
Baye basebenzisa kabi ithemba umphakathi ubukade unabo ube baphinde basebenzisa futhi namathuluzi umphakathi obanikeze wona ukuthi bakwazi ukuthi banqande ubugebengu emphakathini. Batho bana ke batho ba ileng hore ba ile ba sebedisa hampe tshepo e setjhaba ne sena le yona ho bona, ba sebedisa hape le tsona dithuso tse setjhaba se ba fileng hore ba kgone hore ba ba thuse hore ba thibele bohlokotsebe setjhabeng.
In my view, this is an extremely aggravating feature of the crimes which they committed and which must reflect in the punishment which they receive.
Lokho ke kona ku into ebonisa kahle ububi kakhulu balamacala lawo okufanele kukhombise ukuthi ke oyiphi punishment abafanele bayithole njengamaphoyisa. Batho bana ke batho se ba sentseng bona jwalo ka maponisa seo ke sesupo sa bobi ba bohlokotsebe bo ba bentseng se se bontshang hape hore bona jwalo ka maponisa a entseng se a tlamile a fiwe kotlo e jwalo.
It may be that to an extent the reason why they failed to meet the standards is that they are vulnerable.
Mhlambe isizathu esenza ukuthi laba bantu bahluleke ukuthi ke benze ngendlela belindele ukuthi benze ngayo kungoba mhlawumbe bebengenako ukuzinceda. Mohlomongwe se sentseng hore batho bana ba qetelle ba itse ka tsela ya hore ba ska itsa ka tsela e ba letetseng hore ba itse ka teng ke hore ne ba sena ka mokgo ba ka ithusang ka teng.
Nonetheless, if they felt they were vulnerable, they should have sought other occupation.
Uma ngabe bebezwela ukuthi bona abakwazi ukuzinceda ngezimo ababekuzo bekufanele bayofuna eminye imisebenzi ezokwazi ukuthi bathole abakufunayo kuyo. Ha ile hore bona ne ba ikutlwa hore mo ba leng teng ha bana thuso e baka bang le yona le ba ile ba tloela mesebetsi ba yetsang ba ile batla mesebetsi e mengwe e tlo kgonang hore ba khotsofatse.
I accept that all the accused are capable of rehabilitation.
Ngiyakmukela ke ukuthi bonke laba bamangalelwa ba abantu ababonakala ukuthi bangasahlumeleliswa isimilo sabo ke ya amohela taba ya hore bathuswa bana kaofela ke batho ba ka kgonang hore ba kgutlisetswe seemong sa bona hape.
It is difficult to rehabilitate a person who does not accept that he has committed a crime.
Kunzima ke ukuthi uhlumeleliswe umuntu ongafuni ukumukela ukuthi wenze icala elithile. Hobo bima watseba hore ho ulike ho busetswa seemo sa motho sekeng sa sona ha motho a sa batle ho amohela hore wentse molato.
The current attitude of the accused is accordingly inconsistent with an appreciation of their position and their need to rehabilitate.
Kanti ke indlela abaziphethe ngayo laba bamangalelwa mina ngokubona kwami kuphambene ke lesimo abakuso manje. Ngaloyo ndlela leyo ngibona ukuthi kufanele ukuthi laba bantu banikezwe ithuba lokuthi bahlumeleliswe isimilo. Katsela e ba itshwareng ka teng bathuswa bana ke batho ba le hore ba fapanele se se tsahetseng. Katsela eo ke batho ba ke bonang hore ba tlamile hore ba tle ba fuwe monyetla hore ba khutlisetswe seemong sa bona sa hlompho sa botho.
The period of imprisonment which I propose imposing upon them will afford them an opportunity to be trained and see the wrongness of their ways and assist in their rehabilitation.
Kanti ke igwebo zaphakathi ejele ngizobanikeza zona zizoba igwebo ezizobanceda ukuthi bayo trainwa nokuthi bakwazi ukubona futhi bamukele ukuthi ke benze izinto engalungile. Ebe digwebo tse ke tlo ba fang tsona tsa tronkong di tlo ba thusa hore bona ba tle ba kgone hore ba trainwa hape ba tle ba amohele ba ithute ho amohela hore ntho tse ba di editseng ke ntho tse mpe.
The effect of imprisonment upon the immediate family of the accused is immediately apparent.
Kuyacaca vele nje ukuthi ukugwetshwa kwalaba mangalelwa bayiswe ejele lokhu kuzoba nomthelela othile emndenini yabo. Hona uhlakile hore ha ba fuwa digwebo jwalo ba etronkong seo se tlo ama maphelo a difamily tsa bona.
The other elements of punishment, however, require that the accused be imprisoned and will unfortunately have this effect upon their family.
Kanti ke futhi enye into esetshenzisekayo ekupunisheni abamangalelo ukuthi njengoba bazothunyelwa ejele lokhu noma kanjani kuzoba nomthelela emindenini yabo. Hape ntlha e nngwe e setjiswang hore ba fuwe kotlo ba tsuwa bana go hore ba romelwe tronkong. Seo sona ho hlakile hore se tlo ama difamili tsa bona ka tsela e seng monate.
It was suggested that I consider, out of the array of punishment options, those options which would result in the accused spending a short time in prison and then an extended period under correctional supervision or otherwise under the control of the authorities.
Kantoloke itige yona ku na zozonke igwebo lesi engahle ikhipe izobheka futhi nesigwebo sokuya ejele isikhathi esifushane. Emva kwalokho ke kube khona isikhathi eside noma ke isigwebo eside sokuthi ke abamangalelwe babe ngaphansi kwe correctional services noma ke babe bangaphansi kolawulo lwabo. Jwale ha ke sheba digwebo tse ngata tse enka ba fang tsona ke tlo sheba sigwebo se nka ba fang sona sa ho ya tronkong nako e kgutshwane ka mora habo ba kgone hore ba be tlase ho ba ha correctional services.
In my view, this form of punishment is inappropriate in that, in my view, the accused should be sentenced to imprisonment for longer than 5 years, which results in this option being unavailable.
Lesi sigwebo lesi enkhuluma ngaso manje sokuthi bathunyelwe ejele isikhashana esifishane bese ke emva kwalokho baba ka bathola esinye isigwebo noma ke isigwebo siqhubelekeke ku correctional services control. Sizoba isigwebo esingafanele. Mina ngibona ukuthi isigwebo esifanele bona isigwebo sokuthi baye ejele nje isikhathi eside sidlula iminyaka e5. Nakibona hore kotlo e ke qetang bua ka yona e leng sigwebo se ke qetang bua ka sona sa hore ba dile tronkong dilemo tse kgutshwane e be ka mo ba be ba tsweletse sigwebo sa bona tlase ho ba correctional supervision. Ke sigwebo se sa tshwanelang. Na ke bona hore sigwebo se ba tlamileng ba se fumane ke sigwebo se le tronkong se fetang dilemo tse 5.
I've taken into account the period of imprisonment of all of the accused as a factor in imposing punishment, but not in the sense in which State versus Brophy considered it to be a factor.
Kantolo ke ithi ibhekile isikhathi esenihlele sona enkantolo zokuthathela emqondweni lokho mayikhipha isigwebo kodwa hayi ngalendlela le icala nayi ngalendlela le uBrophy ayisho ngakhona ukuthi leso sikhathi sifanele sithathwe ngayo. Lekgotla lena le lona le shebile hape le nako e le dutseng tronkong e tlo nkela nako e hlohong e fela e seng ka tsela e Brophy ai buang ka teng ai hlalosang ka teng hore etsahale ka teng.
The council calculated that period for me as being 6 months in custody plus 6 weeks in custody pending the bail application, approximately call it 8 months.
Mina ke ngokubala kwami inyanga ezo6 namaviki awu6 ufakwa isicelo sebail. Lokhu kimi kwenza inyanga ezo18 phakathi ejele. Jalo nna ha ke sheba nako e le dutseng tronkong le kgweditse tsheletseng le di beketse tsheletseng le kentse kopo ya bail ka di beketse ke bona hore nako kaofela e etsa dikgwedi tse 8.
I've considered the various authorities concerning the number of years which have been imposed on various occasions for drug dealing as also for the kidnapping and attempted murder.
Kantolo ke ibhekile eminye imithetho esetshenziswe emacaleni afana nawo lawa nina enilahlwe ngawo la ecaleni le dakamizwa kanye nase macaleni ukukidnappa umuntu. Lekgotla lena le re le shebile melao e sebedisitsweng mo melatong e mengwe e ne e tshwana le yona e melato ya dithifatsa hape le melato ya ho kidnappa motho.
I do not propose to trawl through them. But for example, in State versus Kaiser, 2012-2 SACR 437, 20 years imprisonment was imposed on a drug mule who transported 6.5 kilograms of cocaine.
Kanti ke inkantolo ithi noma ingafuni ukungena kakhulu ku wonke lawo macala lawo okwa khishwa igwebo kuwo izothi nje capho ecaleni lelalibhekane no Kaiser yena wanikezwa iminyaka ewu20 phakathi ejele lo beka ilokho esikubiza nge-drug mule ahambisa ama drugs kwamanye amazwe ama drugs lawo beka 6.5 kilograms athi he lekgotla la halisa batle ho kena ka botebo mo melatong e mengwe bo batho ba ne ba kileng ba fiwa dikwebo melatong e tshwanang le itlo kena fela mo molatong wa Kaiser yena ona filwe sekwebo sa lemotse 20 tronkong ine le motho ona tsamaisa di-drugs ho tloha fatseng le lengwe ya fatseng le lengwe ine le di-drugs tse le kanang 6.5 kilograms.
As far as accused 1 and 2 are concerned, insofar as the drug dealing is concerned, it appears to me that an appropriate sentence is the maximum period provided for in the statute.
Kanti ke unumber 1 unumber 2 la ecaleni ledakamizwa mina kubonakala kimi ukuthi isigwebo esibafanele yiso lesi umthetho osibekile isilinganiso lesesibekwe umthetho hathi number 1 number 2 mo kusong ya dititifatsi na ho ya ka bono ya sekwebo se ba tshwanetseng ke sona se se beilweng ke molao.
As for accused number 5 on that count, it appears to me that an appropriate sentence is of the order of 12 years for that attempt.
Mangalelwa number 5 khona la ecaleni lo leyidakamizwa inkantolo ithi ibona ukuthi isigwebo esifanele iminyaka ewu12 phakathi ejele highly number 5 yena wona motsosong ya dititifatsi ka hore ke attempt le khotla lena le re le bona sekwebo se tshwanetseng tlabang dilemo tse 12 tronkong.
I propose in respect of each of the counts to impose that sentence which I believe to be appropriate in respect of each count.
Kantolo ithi-ke yona izobheka isigwebo esifanele kwelinye nelinye icala yona ibona ukuthi isigwebo sakhona sifanele sibe yilesi lekgotla le re lona le bona hore digwebo tse tshwanetseng qoso engwe le engwe ke ena,
and to give effect to the cumulative effect of the sentences which I have imposed by way of directing portions of the sentence to run concurrently with other portions.
Kanti ke inkantolo izoyenza ukuthi igwebo lezi mazikhishwe zinjalo kuzoba nengxenye yaleyo minyaka yalezo igwebo inkantolo ezothi zizoba igwebo ezihambisanayo kunokuthi umuntu ahlale iminyaka leyo ebekiwe for isigwebo esinye nesinye izohambisana kanye leyo minyaka. Khotla le re lona digwebo tsona tse le tlodintshang hona le karolo engwe e leng hore lekgotla le tlore di lemo tseo di tsamaisane ebe sekwebo sa
this with the view to imposing a total period of punishment which I believe to be appropriate.
Lokho ke kuzenziwa sekuhlanganiswe yonke le minyaka inkantolo ebona ukuthi kufanele kukhishwe yona kulamacala.
I accordingly impose the following punishment. I'll refer to each accused and each count and each particular period of imprisonment which I propose.
Zobalwa ngamunye ngamunye ke lekgotla le tlontsha sekwebo motho le motho ka tsela e a tshwanetseng a fuwe sekwebo ka teng.
Accused 1, count 1, 25 years imprisonment.
Mangale loqala ecaleni loqala iminyaka u25 phakathi ejele bucuso wa pele mo tusong ya pele 25 years tronkong.
Count 2, 15 years imprisonment.
15 years icala lesibili
Count 3, 15 years imprisonment.
15 minyaka phakathi ejele ecaleni lesithathu 15 years ya quso ya bobedi 15 years ya quso ya boraro ho number 1
10 years of each of counts 2 and 3 shall be served concurrently with the sentence imposed on count 1.
kule minyaka le ecala lesibili lesithathu njengoba kwama 15 kanje u10 walamacala uzongena la kule cala lokucala le 25 years lokho kusho ukuthi ke akazuhlala labo 15 years bahlukile banjalo kuzokhishwa lama 10 years afakwe lapha kule 25 years lokho kusho ukuthi ke kuzoba yi25 years ihlangene yonke
The effective period of imprisonment is accordingly 35 years.
bese ke kuba ilama kule minyaka eselama 55 ihlanganise nale 25 kuzoba iminyaka e35 number 1 ke loyo
Accused number 2. Count 1. 25 years imprisonment.
number 2 ecala loqala iminyaka e25 phakathi ejele
Count 2. 15 years imprisonment.
cala lesibili 15 years
Count 3. 15 years imprisonment.
cala lesithathu iminyaka e15
10 years of each of counts 2 and 3 shall be served concurrently with the sentence imposed on count 1.
kanjalo ke no number 2 iminyaka e10 kulama 15 izofakwa la kule 25 years
The effective period of imprisonment is accordingly 35 years.
sohlala iminyaka e35 phakathi ejele number 2
Accused 3.
mangalelo number 3
Count 2.
ecaleni lesibili lahlwe ngalo
15 years imprisonment.
iminyaka e15 phakathi ejele
Count 3. 15 years imprisonment.
cala lesithathu 15 years phakathi ejele
The period of imprisonment imposed on count 3 shall in its totality be served concurrently with the period of imprisonment imposed on count 2.
kanti ke icala isigwebo lesi seminyaka u15 ecaleni lesithathu izohambisana neminyaka le isigwebo secala lesibili yonke iphelele 15 years yonke izongena kule 15 years icala lesibili
The effective period of imprisonment is accordingly 15 years.
lokusho ukuthi ke wena uzohlala iminyaka e15 phakathi ejele
Accused 4.
mangalelo number 4
Count 2.
caleni lesibili
15 years imprisonment.
15 years phakathi ejele
Count 3. 1 year imprisonment.
caleni lesithathu unyaka owodwa phakathi ejele
The period of imprisonment imposed on count 3 shall in its totality be served concurrently with the period of imprisonment imposed on count 2.
unyaka lo owodwa wecala lesithathu uzongena la kule minyaka e15 ecaleni lesibili
The effective period of imprisonment is accordingly 15 years.
lokusho ukuthi wena uzohlala ejele iminyaka e15
Accused number 5.
mangalelwa 5
Count 1.
cala lokuqala
12 years imprisonment.
iminyaka e12 phakathi ejele
Count 2. 15 years imprisonment.
cala lesibili iminyaka e15 phakathi ejele
Count 3. 15 years imprisonment.
cala lesithathu iminyaka e15 phakathi ejele
The totality of the periods of imprisonment imposed on counts 1 and 3 shall run concurrently with the period of imprisonment imposed on count 2.
kanti ke iminyaka le ecaleni lokuqala nasecaleni lesithathu izohambisana kanye nale minyaka esecaleni lesibili
The effective period of imprisonment is accordingly 15 years.
lokho kusho ukuthi wena uzohlala ejele iminyaka e15
Count accused 6.
number 6
Count 2. 15 years imprisonment.
quso ya bobedi dilemo tse 15 tronkong
Count 3. 15 years imprisonment.
quso ya boraro dilemo tse 15 tronkong
The totality of the period of imprisonment imposed upon the accused in respect of count 3 is to be served concurrently with the period imposed on count 2.
dilemo tse tsa quso ya boraro tse 15 di tlo tsamaisana le dilemo tsa quso ya bobedi e 15
All of the accused, that is accused 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are declared unfit to possess firearms in terms of Section 103 of Act Number 60 of 2000.
Number 6 se se tjho hore o tlo dula dilemo tse 15 tronkong. Jwale nina nonke namhlanje niyaphuqwa amalungelo wenu ukuthi ningaba nesibhamu esikhathini esizayo noma ke ulicense kanjalo. Jwale lekgotla le linkela tokelo tsa lona tsa hore le ka ba le sethunya nakong e tlang.
Do the accused understand the punishment?
Kuyezwakala bafowethu. Number 6 wa utlwa ntate?
Right.
Understood.
Yes. It's
Lord,
after
I
4,
think-
so I propose adjourning.
My Lord, may I please address the court before the court adjourns?
Yes, it's after 4, so.
I understand that, my Lord. I've got instructions to immediately note an application for leave to appeal. The matter has been set down tomorrow too. I'm going to ask that in respect of accused number 2, that he be brought back to court tomorrow so that we can deal with the notice for leave to appeal, alternatively with a bail application, since there is currently leave to or a notice of an intention of leave to appeal, and in line with Longwani's case, your Lordship can entertain the bail application prior to hearing the application for leave to appeal. As the court pleases.
My Lord, I have similarly an instruction to note an application for leave to appeal, which I do now, and I request the matter be remanded until tomorrow for argument on that application for leave to appeal, and then possibly an application for bail.
Mr. Mashiani. This way, accused one.
I wish to also notify the court that I want to file the notice of leave to appeal for conviction and sentence, and I want to make the bail application as well.
A lot of got instructions from the Director of Public Prosecutions to oppose whatever applications the accused intend bringing as regards the time when the matter will be set down, the court sends.
In other words, you don't have any problem with adjourning tomorrow.
No.
Please. Matter stands until tomorrow. All accused to be brought back to court, and we'll continue at 10 o'clock.
Sobuya kusasa ke bafowethu ngeyicelo zenu zoku-appeal kanye ne-bail.
Just wait. Sorry, interpret.
Re tlo kgutla hosane akere baemedi ba kopile hore ba kenye kopo ya appeal le bail.
Mr. Mashiani, is the venue? Can we please have some? Can we please have some silence in court? Is the venue to be here?
Indeed, ma'am.
Right. So the venue will be this court tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock. Court adjourns.
All right.
Papa, absolutely.
Yeah.